Coming up on Unpacked, the second chapter.
Oh goodness, it's been quite a journey.
With everything that we already have to deal with for society, I didn't want them to deal with the fact that they might be looked at differently.
Nosy had to have a couple of operations in order to prepare her body for it, which we didn't foresee.
I mean, you go into it knowing that nothing is guaranteed.
Why is my body not doing the things that it should do?
Sorry about the tears. I don't like crying in public, but this has been...
Please don't apologize. Apparently, Unpacked is the place for tears. Our same-sex IUI story, that was one of my favorite episodes on Unpacked with Relebogile, simply because it has given hope to many same-sex couples that there are options available to them to conceive and start to build their own families. Let's take a look.
Growing up, I didn't even know that you can be in a same-sex relationship. And up until I met Poppy, I didn't know how else to have a child besides having a boyfriend or a husband.
For me, something like adoption was the last resort. I really wanted to carry a child. So I knew that I biologically wanted to carry a child, and I wanted this child to be biologically mine.
So she was like, we should ask your brother to donate. I was like, no. I didn't want it because it feels like incest. So
she assured me that we could do an IUI, which is an intrauterine insemination. 2 days later, we went into the doctor, to our fertility doctor, and we did the insemination.
She pulled off the test and she said, what do you see? I'm like, 2 lines. She's like, what does that mean? I'm like, I don't know. But then I knew. So I was excited. I was happy.
It just made sense that I would go first, essentially, because actually our plan is that Nosy will carry our second child. So Ocean is 6 months. Yeah, she's just a delight. We've really loved every second of it.
Ocean is she's closer to me than she is to Poppy.
It sounds like that conversation is offline. Poppy and Nosy, how are you doing?
Good, thank you. Thanks for having us back.
And welcome, of course, to Unpacked, the second chapter. And I'm sure little one is very big now.
Yes, she is.
Very big and busy.
Yeah, very busy.
How was reception to you sharing your story since you came on the show?
We had quite a few messages, didn't we? It's been really positive. I think that people responded well to it, and a lot of people were saying they were inspired by our story. And yeah, it's been really great.
Yeah, it was more positive than negative. I mean, there was one negative on YouTube, but that it happens all the time. So
yeah,
we
didn't let that bother us.
Yeah.
Did you find that many people weren't aware of some of the information that you shared?
Yeah, definitely. I think there's a lot of misinformation out there. So yeah, I definitely think we provided people with a bit more information about how to go about doing something like this. Yeah.
And I mean, we spoke previously just around how the families were receiving, the two of you being together, and the whole thing. What is the status quo at the moment? And I'd love to start with you, Nosy.
It's nice, actually. My parents, I think, have adjusted to it. They didn't spend much time with her when she was smaller. So I think it took some adjusting because of COVID and those restrictions. So it took a bit of adjusting for them to get to the grandparents phase. But they're very good with her now because they come and visit Parenthood quite often. So even Ocean knows who they are. So she's receptive of them as well. So it's quite nice.
Yeah. And your family, Poppy?
I mean, they love Ocean and they love Nosy and they love us. They're very supportive. I mean, it's been hard because we haven't been home. We did go home. So when I say home, I mean France. My parents live in France. We went there, a year ago, a year and a half ago, and we haven't been back since. So it's been quite hard being so far away and not having, the opportunity to go back more often. But they're very supportive of us, and they love Ocean
very much.
Yeah.
One of the things that I recall from our last conversation was that as you decide to grow the family, that Nosi would take on the role of carrying. Where are we with that?
Oh goodness, it's been quite a journey.
So we actually have tried.
We're doing IVF.
Yeah, so we had to go the IVF route for me because of the issues that I have. So I've got something called PCOS, which I think we spoke about in the last season. And I also have endometriosis, which for me was quite severe. There's stages, and I was there's like 1 to 5, and when I'm stage 4, which was getting near to stage 5. In which case, when they did the surgery, they found out that my fallopian tubes were like clogged up, and had to be cleared and stuff. And because of that having happened, the doctor suggested that IVF would have a bit better, would have better outcomes. Obviously, not everything is guaranteed. So we did the egg extraction, got the sperm donated, fertilization happened. We have embryos, and we've tried twice, and both times it hasn't worked out.
Yeah. So it's been quite difficult. Yeah, it's been a difficult one. Yeah. But we're hopeful.
How did you choose the sperm this time around?
So, Poppy was more, she wanted them to have similar genes, if you want to call it that, like having the same donor as she had, so that even if they don't, look alike in terms of skin tone, they still have something common.
Link.
A genetic link. But
she didn't want that, so we went with a white donor this time.
But also that donor was so popular. Ocean's donor was so popular. By the time she checked, they were finished.
Yeah, there were no more files. Yeah. Well, I don't think it's so popular, but they only allow 6.
They allow 6, but it means a lot of people liked his profile, because that's as far as you can get into.
Yeah.
So
we have a different donor. We have a white donor, and we chose someone as close as we could to my physical characteristics. That's the route we went with.
Yeah.
So Nosi, maybe you can help me understand. I funny enough, never thought about the genetic tie thing and using the same donor. But now that Poppy is like, actually, I wanted them to be connected genetically, I'm like, oh, I see that, even though they would look different. But now I'm like, now that that's mentioned, what was your reason that you like, I would rather they look the same? Because my gut is telling me, because you may have had the experiences of being othered by society, you would want to protect your children from that.
I think my main reason was that I would like them to not physically, but like same hair, similar hair, so they have that in common. More than because if the one that I would have carried, whether I carry it or someone else carries it, would have both gene types from black families, which means they would come out completely black, which there's nothing wrong with it. But we are in a mixed race relationship. And so if one child looks a bit more different than the firstborn, so with everything that we already have to deal with for society, I didn't want them to deal with the fact that they might be looked at differently, in that they might have an upper hand with South Africa being black empowerment. So the one that looks more black, I just felt, this is me, I could be completely wrong, but this is what's like, the other one might have an upper hand over the other one because, Ocean will look colored, as people say, even though she's not colored, because I believe colored is a culture, not what you look like. So that's where my reasoning sort of came from. I rather wanted them to bond because they will face similar challenges in life, instead of bonding because they have the same genes, because everything has its pros and cons, obviously.
Yeah.
And we'll never know until we're in it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So was the option still a consideration, even though you are the one looking to carry, that you use Poppy's egg for the next pregnancy, if you wanted them to still look the same and you happen to be using the same donor?
Yeah, I mean, we've had many conversations about the different options. And I think at the end of the day, Nosi wanted the full experience and I want her to have the full experience. And in the end, it just felt that the right thing for us, that Nosi uses her own eggs. And yeah.
So we, for now,
I mean, the other thing that we're dealing with right now is because of the challenges with Nosi and the IVF not really working at the moment, we're considering me carrying her embryos. So if anything, I will be carrying, I'll be carrying our next child potentially, but I think we're gonna try one more time with Nosi first before we take that route.
Can you share with us the challenges you face with IVF? You know, I think many women are not aware, many society as a whole is not aware of the type of challenges because it's such a lengthy process. It's not just like, oh, but, you know, when they plop in the embryo, it's just done in a few seconds. It's actually much more that goes into it.
To start with, it's quite expensive. So one of the challenges was us saving enough money in order to do the process to begin with. So that took some time. And then, you know, it was a lot of preparation. Nosi had to have 2 operations. So you're getting emotional. Nosi had to have a couple of operations in order to prepare her body for it, which we didn't foresee at the time. And then, you know, she had to take a lot of medication in order to ovulate and smosh. So it's been quite a challenge.
The hormones, it's an exceptionally emotional journey.
Yeah.
And maybe Nosi, I mean, you know, you're still in the middle of it. Can you share with us what's on your heart as these tears are flowing? What's the most difficult part about all of this?
I think it's partly the expense that's attached to it, because it's quite pricey, like lot more pricier than IUI. And I mean, you go into it knowing that nothing is guaranteed, because nothing's ever guaranteed, even with IUI. And IVF might be the one that has a higher chance. And they say it also depends on the age of your eggs. So my eggs were just okay because they were extracted when I was 34. So they're not that old. I think they start getting old when you get 35 and above. Sorry about the tears. I don't like crying in public, but this has been.
Please don't apologize. Apparently, Unpacked is the place for tears. So,
but yeah, I think the treatment that I have to go through for the transfer, because I feel like the egg extraction was not as it didn't take as much toll on my body. With the egg extraction, there's a lot of injections I have to take, and I don't like needles. That's besides the point. But like, I have to inject like every day, depending on the route that we've taken, and then I have to have Lucrin that I have to insert. That can also inconvenience your day, depending on the type that they give you. So, and then it does change your body. I'm a type that loves exercising, and after 3 days of being on that treatment, I just feel heavy and tired and bloated and gaining weight. So it's that. And then you go through this because I think I have to go through it like for about a month, and then you do the transfer, and then you have to wait 10 days. While you're still continuing and you don't know, and then you get false
pregnancy symptoms.
Yeah, because your brain as well. Your brain is telling you that your body should be pregnant, and then the treatment as well. It can sort of mimic pregnancy tests, so you sort of get positive, but you know you shouldn't be positive, and then it comes back and
it's negative. And I think what I noticed with Nosi is that she's very hard on herself. So when we would get the negative result, she would say, what's wrong with my body? You know, why can't I do something that all women should be able to do? So on an emotional level, besides the hormones and the treatment and all of that, it's that sense of why is my body not doing the things that it should do. And it was quite easy with Ocean. It was everything went smoothly, and it just feels, I think, comparing it's been a lot harder this time round with Nosi.
Yeah, it's not even, it's like, I don't know, I don't even compare it with Poppy as much, but it's like it gets to a point, because the doctor keeps saying it's not your fault. And technically, I know it's not my fault. Like, there could be something wrong with the embryo. We didn't do genetic testing on the embryo. So it could be that the embryo is not good enough. So the body ejects it before it can attach in the uterus, which is fine, because then the baby would have had deformities. And the other thing that I think it doesn't hurt, but it doesn't help with the questions that you have, is that the doctors don't really know.
Yeah, they don't have the answers.
They can't tell you what happened when the embryo didn't attach, because the only thing the embryo has to do is attach, like you said. It doesn't have to move from any part of your body. They place it nicely in the embryo, and
everything looked perfect. And then
and everything looks perfect. And it does suck that I've always been able to do everything with my body. I'm a physical person, so it sucks that my body can't do this one thing. Like, the one thing that I'm trying, why is it not giving me that? It's like, and then it just seems unfair. But then you come back and you're like, I'm not the only one.
Yeah,
I just happen to be the one who's lucky to be able to find out what's wrong with me, because most women, the public hospitals won't, like, if you don't get pregnant, nobody bothers to say, oh, let's go find a gynae and let's try and identify what's wrong with you.
Yeah.
But the society just calls you names instead, which is what I would have been. But because, I happen to be in this lucky space, I can have some answers, It's hard, but still feels a bit unfair.
And the thing is, I think your feelings are completely valid. What we know intellectually and what we're experiencing is something else completely. And we know many, many women who feel completely inadequate because of what that part of a woman's journey can mean to them, what motherhood, not just the motherhood part, the being able to fall pregnant, the being able to carry to full term and see it through. So I can't fully relate because I was able to carry, but I can definitely just, like, my heart is with you. I've been public with my own journey with fibroids and the potential loss. And, the both of you are investing so much money into this, and you are basically hanging on to hope, like you said, that the results come, and then it's like so soul crushing and spirit crushing. And I think that's why it's so important you sharing your story publicly the way that you are, because there are many, many women, many couples that are going through what you're going through. And that feeling of why can't I is definitely universal in all of those cases. So what are you doing to keep the hope alive and just to stay positive in this ongoing journey?
I mean, we're not giving up. Nosi's had another recent operation. They wanted to take a look again to see if there was anything else wrong, but we're taking it one step at a time, one day at a time. We're taking a break from trying for a while. We need to also recoup some funds. So we're taking a bit of a break and just taking the pressure off, but we are still working towards that goal. And, we've been looking at other options. Like I said, if it doesn't work with Nosi, we've got a plan B as well and a plan C. So I think it's just taking it one step at a time and not giving up on our dreams and our hopes. And we're distracting ourselves. I mean, we're getting busy. I'm very busy at work, and Nosi is starting a new job very soon, so she's got that going on. So life carries on. And also, Ocean is just amazing, and she's just the most beautiful child, and she keeps us on our toes. So that is a beautiful distraction for us. And we even said a few times, if it doesn't happen, we have Ocean, and we're so lucky and blessed to have her. So that keeps us, going.
Yeah, no. Ocean keeps me busy, which because I've been a full-time mom for the past how many months?
4 or 5 months. Yeah.
4 or 5 months. So I think that's also helped because,
She's been a stay-at-home mum. Been nice for her.
not by choice, but you know how things are in South Africa. So yeah, that's, and then I exercise, and that I'm a very anxious person, so I have to find something that takes my thoughts away, because I can, if you let me, or if I allow myself, I can get into a very, very dark hole. And then I keep busy. I run the house. I tell Pop what to do. She says I parent her, but it's probably because I have too much time and I need something that I can control, kind of thing.
But also just to feel your feelings. So we, after the 2 failed transfers, Nosi took a few days just to be in, that space and to feel what she needs to feel. And she, cried and
the smallest thing makes you cry.
And I think that was really important, because you can't totally ignore your feelings, and I think you have to work through them and be in them for a while. So as much as we're getting on with stuff now, we did take some time after the failed transfers just to
talk about it, because I think it's important as a couple to. I mean, it's not easy for Poppy because I'm not the emotional type, so it's hard on her to have to deal with me.
And I'm solution focused. I'm like, okay, what's the next step?
And I'm like, I don't want the next step.
just
want to be in the feelings. Just let me cry or do whatever. But so talking and sharing and just being vulnerable, I think it helps for it to heal and be able to look forward.
Yeah,
it's not the end of the world. Pretty much. That's sometimes what I say, because I can do a lot more things that are good enough, and this is just the one thing that I can't do. And
yet,
I'm with you on that. Yet, I'm with you. But it's not that you can't. Maybe it's just a speed hump. Yeah. And we got some great comments on the episode, and I'd just love to share with you. At Layles says, this topic hit home. I have PCOS and had to go through IUI process, and now going through something I never knew existed, vanishing twin syndrome. I wish we could normalize talking about fertility issues. Thank you, ladies, for sharing your story. And then another one from Wanabadimo 9793 says, what an interesting topic. Thank you, Sis Lebo. I wonder how it works in terms of amasiko and when it comes to spirituality, particularly the African spirituality. So maybe, Nosi, you can share in this process your thoughts in this experience.
It's an interesting question. So with my family, my background, we don't we don't practice the traditional ceremonies. So the only thing that we do at home is like the initiation for boys. So we don't have what we call imbeleko, or when the kids are introduced to the ancestors, where they take them to the kraal. My dad has never done that with any of the kids. So he's more the Christian side of things. So it's not something that we've spoken about, but it is a good topic for someone who is traditional like that. And because we're neither more traditional or more Christian, we're just living our life as we would otherwise, with or without Ocean. So I'm sorry, I can't. I don't really have an answer for that one.
Well, ladies, your story is very moving, and it's just I really appreciate just how real and authentic and honest you've been about where you're at, and the tears are real because the pain and the frustration is real, with the combination of other things that might be going on in your life, because it's not just that aspect. It's like real life is also happening. Real life is also continuing. We're definitely going to stay in touch on this journey with you, and hope that you continue sharing. May Ocean just grow to rattle your cages even more and challenge you both even more on this journey called life. But thank you so much for choosing to come back and give us an update and answer some questions.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Are there any final thoughts you'd like to share with our viewers?
Final thoughts. I think that, you know, obstacles come and, you know, life doesn't always happen according to our schedule. And each experience that we've had, we've learned from, and we're trying to become stronger in that journey. And I think, you know, our relationship is most important, and we continue to work on that, and we're stronger together. And I think just for anybody who's going through it, you know, seek support from your loved ones, whether it's your partner or your family or your friends, and don't suffer alone through it, and know that, you know, other people are feeling the same things, going through similar things. So yeah, I think that's what I'd like to say. And you?
For me, I've enjoyed being a parent since Ocean was a baby until now. And it is quite a lovely journey to be able to parent someone. It's scary, and you don't want to mess it up, but I think we're doing a pretty job so far. We sort of let her tell us when she's ready to do something. So we didn't know what we're doing. We're doing child-led parenting, which you together with the child, you learn as they develop. So I've learned a lot having Ocean around. And I mean, most people ask, does it matter that she's not genetically yours? For me, it doesn't. I usually say, if Poppy, you were going to leave, you're leaving alone, or she's not going anywhere. So parenting is not about genes. It's about the love and the care and the bond that you have together. And we've built quite a bond, and I'm grateful for that every day.
Yeah.
So hoping the next one, when it comes, it fits in quite nicely.
Yeah.
Ladies, thank you so much again for coming through to the show and for giving us an update. We really, really wish you all of the best.
Thank you so much.
Through all hardships, there really is hope. And this story, I hope, will continue to just allow all of you that are in similar situations or facing different struggles to hang on to the hope that, yes, it is possible. It definitely is possible, even if the journey is hard, even if the timing is not right. Comment down below with any of your questions or your thoughts. And of course, we will see you next time on Unpacked, the second chapter. Next time on Unpacked, the second chapter. On the show, you had lost, was it 102 or 103 kilograms?
About 102. It's not about starving yourself. It's about eating the right groups of food.
And would you say you are loving your body more?
In the first 2-3 years, it's very difficult. It's a lot of mental struggle. I don't wear makeup anymore because my skin, my pimples are gone. I walk into a store, people want to paint things for me. The leaner looking girls that are like really smaller and pretty, people will say they're entitled. It's not that they are entitled, it's because the world has allowed for them to be like that. It's a lot, man.
Is there anybody that you would love to see on the second chapter? Maybe there's a question that you think I should have asked, or something that was burning after you watched and you wished you could have the guest back. Maybe you were confused, or maybe you felt like, there's definitely more to the story. Comment down below and let us know who you'd like to see, which story you'd like to revisit, which guest you'd like us to invite back for Unpacked, the second chapter.